Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and we're a couple days removed from the Morchi patch. Morchi's not in this video. I'm just gonna say it. Morchi does not feature into any of these decks, but I wanted to give the best decks to climb with, whether it's standard or wild, for, you know, the end of this month and the upcoming February month, and likely the last deck recommendation video we do until either that big balance patch comes or we get the the early access legendary of the pre-order of the next expansion. Whenever that happens, it's looking like the 9th. Anyways, we'll talk about that in a future video. But yes, we'll give you guys some decks to play with. We actually have like 20 total decks across both formats, one for each class in standard. Should be a lot of variety for you guys to try out. Just again, yeah, not a lot of new stuff, just more further refined. Anyways, enjoy the content on the channel. Feel like I've earned your subscription. Please hit that sub button down below. Give the video a like, as it helps the channel out a lot. So I could have done like probably like 5 Demon Hunter decks, but we're gonna have 2. The best being most likely, just because it's the easiest to play, Cliff Dive Demon Hunter, where, yeah, you got Broxigar in there to cycle and get lifesteal, but overall, it's all about Cliff Dive. Get that card. You can cheat out, you know, Illidar. You can cheat out your Briar Spawn Drake or whatever. You have Fey Trickster in there to tutor it out, and it can just deal a ton of damage, and you have chip damage along the way, like Sigil of Cinder, Infestation, Dangerous Cliff Dive, or Cliffside. Really solid deck, arguably the best in the format, and very, very easy to play, so easy to recommend. And the new hotness since the mini set came out is Broxigar Demon Hunter that cycles through to basically get Broxigar, get that 2-mana 12/12. You can bounce him twice for incredible damage. Obviously, like 36 total is pretty darn good. But of course, you also have in there the Blavatar, which you can bring back with Ravenous Fell Hunter, bring back with Return Policy, which is gross. You have Elise and a ton of cycle with Remnant of Rage. Kerrigan's in there as your 8, but can just deal a bunch of damage, similar what Death Knight's been doing. Ziliak, Ceaseless to clear the board when you do your combo, but this isn't just straight up doing the combo with your whole Broxigar. It does have that usual just super frustrating game pattern or gameplay pattern of getting a lot of blobs over and over and over, and yeah, patches the pilot just to help cycle through, and those tokens can really help out that new card in Remnant of Rage. Aura Paladin is doing a lot better since the mini set, getting that new card in Acceleration Aura, which can be tutored by the Violet Treasure Guild. It's your only 2-mana spell, so if you have this in your opener and you haven't drawn the aura, it'll cheat it out, so that's really good. Got Cardboard Golem to extend the life of all your auras, but basically it's like, look at the curve, right? You only have like 1/1, basically 1/2, 1/3. You really need to mulligan aggressively for those cards, but cards like Manifest Timeways can help you stabilize, catch up. Of course, Elise is absolutely nuts, and you got your Tigress plushie as well that can give you some recoverability, and you have like Dorian in there, which if you swing with like Ursine Maul, you can get more Ziliaxes, I guess more Gelbids if you really want, and yeah, you got the auras in there, and overall, it's a good deck. It's just very linear, and obviously, if you don't curve very well, it can be a bit of an issue, but you do have some recoverability. The Death Knight deck that I play a lot, will be keep playing to Legend next season, Double Blood Death Knight, which again, one of Demolition Renovators, basically the top lists have it, so I'm going to recommend some Tech W, because, well, as you see, almost every Elise, I'm going to say Elise, and I say Elise, every list has like Elise in it, and yeah, we kind of know the deal with this deck by now. You have some scams like Exarch Maladar into like Ziliax, and you can cheat out Giants, and you got Remnant of Rage to draw cards. You got Kerrigan for some damage, Ceaseless to clear. Overall, just a really insane mid-range deck that has effectively infinite damage with Foam Render and can do a lot of good work in the mid to late game, and a deck I enjoy, but my goodness, I'm getting a little bit sick of, and maybe we'll highlight this deck. I have not made a gameplay video on this one yet, haven't tried it out, but it's been trending well. I've even seen, I've been on a bit of a break lately, but I've seen on watching Theo's stream, double Unholy DK, which has cards like Falric, has cards like Assimilating Blight, because you can just hit some really good stuff on there. Very tokeny, which is always good good for that Remnant of Rage, even as like Shadows of Yesterday. So a lot of cards that haven't been particularly like high legend cards for the most part, but have definitely seen play. We did like a triple Unholy deck video not too long ago, but yeah, double Unholy and Blood, more of a token based strategy, but it's got Fire Act in there, which you could cheat out, I believe, with like Narrowlax, and you got the Ysera. It's again more of a mid-range deck. It's similar kind of to Double Blood, just plays different style of cards. But I was looking at like even the win rates at Legend, it's trending maybe even better than the Double Blood variant. So if you want something a little bit different, you haven't tried this out yet, this could be a DK deck for you. And yeah, maybe I'll get a gameplay video on that one, because I don't think I've highlighted that build yet. Dragon Warrior doing really well, obviously, with the new card from the latest mini set, Prescient Slitherdrake. This version has Grom as a charger, which you can activate with like Sanguine Depths and things like that. But early, just trying to snowball the early game. No Elise in this deck, one of the rare decks to not run Elise. You got a Silence in there, which can help against those Blob of Tars in particular. But yeah, just play a lot of stats, and you have late game damage with like Worm, and also just your weapons. You can high roll some pretty crazy weapons with like the Stadium Announcer, right? So, and even like a one-of-dimensional weaponsmith, even though we don't have like any weapons, just hitting, yeah, like a charger or rusher can be pretty solid. So Dragon Warrior, pretty predictable and easy pick to play. Quest Warrior has kind of changed a little bit over the past few weeks, where now the focus is on a Murazon version with the infinite attack, really focused on that rather than like a Marin and trying to win through that way, where yeah, New Heights can get you to 13, then 16 mana, and with Time Warp and Murazon over that mana count, you can OTK that way and just stall to get there, whether it's Ziliac, Ceaseless, all your armor gain. We have the Bouldering Buddy, which could be 1 mana, mainly to be 7 for Elise, but it does serve a bit of a purpose. And you have like an Agoro Brochure, which you could save for like after quest completion, get the spell draw if you didn't get Time Warp. If you want, it's a possible way to tutor it out. And yeah, other than that, pretty much the same old Quest Warrior. Gain a lot of armor, clear as much as you can, stall, and then Time Warp, infinite damage. And you could, you know, put Ceaseless with that to make sure you can get through whatever board your opponent has built up. Discover Hunter, also still very, very good. Been running Demolition Renovator as well. Again, one of the only decks to not play Elise lately. Has been the same thing for quite some time. You really want Niall on 3 to really get that card draw engine going, get the sisters going, so your Sylvanas deals 6, and you can OTK with like the Damage Amulet from Grifta, overwhelm the board with 0 mana alien encounters, and get a ton of value or OTK potential with Regari Scout. And even Precise Shot has started to see play in this deck, even though it might not be in the center of your hand. It's just more burn, which is what you're looking for to kill in the late game. And sometimes you can have some pretty tricky lethals. Getting it in the center of your hand with like Typal, Pupil, and dumping stuff, it can actually be a little bit interesting to see how that plays out. Copy Druid, we did a video on pretty recently, is still doing quite well with the whole, you know, just copy a lot of stuff, whether it's the Lady Ajara location, getting the copy location from Elise, then getting more locations from Scrapbooking Student, and then copying like either Alonius, Stargrazer, or just staying alive with Ziliax. And not a bad deck at all. And it can also spam Blob of Tars, which are pretty darn frustrating. Hagatha Shaman, still very good deck, hasn't changed in a long time now. It feels like where you just want Hagatha, you want Elise, you got the Flight of the Firehawk, which is really good with your Bumbling Bellhops and your Murlocs, and just curves out pretty well. Wish Upon a Star, especially if you get it in the slime form, and Shutterblock, it could just be like insane stats. And you got Alec here and there, which works really well with the copy plus attack Elise location for another possible OTK scenario, or just a ton of damage from the High King's Hammer that comes with Muradin. There's a lot going on with this deck. You just really need to curve out with it, because board clears are pretty lacking with that deck. We also have Egg Warlock, which is still really solid, where you just really want to get your egg, whether it's through the Holy Egg Bearer, just keeping the egg itself, or maybe a Cursed Catacombs, and then just destroying it over and over and over, copying that Death Rattle with Archdruid of 4, Thorns and then spamming it with the Endbringer Armor. It's a one trick deck, right? Just get 20/20s, try and kill your opponent, but it's effective, and it's basically the only meta Warlock deck at the moment. We also have a couple of Rogue decks. Elise Rogue is still probably the best Rogue deck out there, where you just really want Elise, or you know, you can Mirrex Elise, or you can Nightmare Fuel an Elise, or you can Deja Vu an Elise, because everybody plays Elise, or even Ashmane in the late game and get Elise, right? And some people have been playing instead of Ashmane. I'll throw this out there, although the best win rate decks I keep seeing are still Ashmane, but I have seen some snatch and grab lists, although that might be more for Imbue. I think that's more for Imbue. Regardless, this deck's doing very well. It's just people are playing a lot of Imbue Rogue instead, even though it's not as good. It's just more new and runs a lot of similar stuff. But if you're looking to play Rogue at like the higher level, it's probably this and Cycle Rogue, although I'm not going to recommend Cycle Rogue because, well, I can't stand it. And Imbue Rogue, yes, this is probably one of the higher win rate decks out there. Again, this is more of the card you'd rather not run Malorn. I think that's the situation where you might rather run Snatch and Grab. So that might be something you want to try out instead, or maybe not, because Malorn's pretty cool, getting those Wild Gods possibly for 1 mana. But yes, you want to get your Imbue cards like Eventuality, Bitterbloom Knight, which of course you could play my favorite card on in Shadow Step, or the Jagged Edge of Time for even more Imbues, and the rest of the package very similar, like Sealing and Elising. And you do have the cool flavor here, of course, of Treasure Hunter Eudora, which is pretty easy to complete with that imbued hero power, and then you could get some pretty crazy duels treasures that might outright scam the game, right? Like Wax Rager, copy that up, or Embers of Ragnaros and prep that out. There's a lot going on in the deck. It's just very, very RNG dependent, and very much not a deck I would recommend to climb with. It's like hovering around 50% at Legend and Diamond through Legend, but people love playing it, so I had to throw a list out there that, yeah, give it a go if you want to play it and try and have some fun. And if you really, really like Protoss deck still, after over a year of StarCraft, Protoss Mage, not going to go into detail about it, but, you know, Kill with Colossus and Protoss Priest, which, again, not going to go into much detail, copy stuff with Resuscitate and then spam Motherships, are still viable decks, probably the best decks for Priest and Mage, but they're still pretty low tier, and there's just not a much going on for these classes at the moment. So I thought I'd throw a deck from every class. I think I got one, but yeah, Mage and Priest are probably the saddest cases. Then with Wild, it's Warlock Stone, right? Egg Warlock, just ridiculously good, where you could get Egg of Kelos out, same ways of drawing it, all like Cursed Catacombs, your Holy Egg Bear, once you get that out, Sacrificial Summoner, you get Umbra, you can kill the egg for like 0 mana, and you get 20/20s, and then you can bring them back with like Phylactery, Habeas Corpus, although it rarely comes to that. Super scammy deck. I think it will get hopefully adjusted at some point in Wild if it continues to be a menace, but as it stands right now, I definitely have to recommend it. Nazmani Priest is an OTK deck that could go as early as like turns 4 and 5, where you get Nazmani on the board, copy it up with either Gift of Luminous or Vivid Nightmare, get all your cards to 0 mana, Stone Tusk Boar, and then Infinite Light Speed. They are dead, and you can even, you know, Shard of the Naru to silence a board if you need to get through it, and it is mostly just kind of limited by animation timing, which is also not a great thing for the format. Libram Paladin is one of the decks can get under these decks through Insane Mana Cheat, as well as like Rebuke and Cold Feet to disrupt your opponent, and still one of the more effective decks in Wild at the moment. And I thought I'd throw in Pyrogue as well, trending pretty good, very aggressive deck. I did mess up in my Wild crafting guide saying Swarthy Swordshiner, probably not worth keeping. One of the cards you really should keep, because this deck has been around for a while, is really good. So again, rotation hasn't happened yet, but when rotation does occur, definitely keep this card in mind to keep around in your collection. But overall, you have the scam of Trickster Shallow Dristle, which if you like combo with like any 1-drop, can corrupt this while this costs 0 and deal a bunch of damage. And maybe you like Garona with your King Slayers and hit that King lane and destroy your opponent that way as well, or at least have their health. Could be a pretty effective aggro deck. And lastly, I just thought I would include a new quest Warlock, where yes, we actually have Battle at the End Time. The new Warlock /Hunter quest is seeing competitive play in Wild right now because, well, they just threw in an Egg Warlock, modified the deck a little bit where you have Plot Twist, where this will basically count your hand as empty. So once you filled it with something like Solarium and card draw, you can actually have an alternate style of win condition on top of everything else of getting that quest reward. You could destroy yourself as well if you want to discard your opponent's hand, and then they have no defense on top of the usual Egg Warlock shenanigans. So it's basically a different version of Egg Warlock, but it's actually kind of up there. And I don't know if I'll do a video on this one as well, because I haven't had a single video of battle at the end time, and it looks like it is viable in Wild, mainly as a kind of a meme thrown into a really, really broken deck that doesn't really care if you have a couple extra cards thrown in there that might hurt the win rate, right? Oh yeah, and while I was editing this video, I kind of forgot to put discard Warlock, which is also really, really, really gross with the new Chrono Clause, right? Because it's 4 mana, deal 12, plus you can discard Soul Barrage or like Fist of Draxus, and it's even more damage. And I know you want more Warlock decks for Wild, so we will throw this in at the end. I almost forgot. Anyways, so there you go. Again, not much has changed, but things have been, you know, refined and moved around. So I thought I would provide you guys with one final deck update video until, yeah, hopefully some changes happen in the next week or two. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.